So you ever have one of those days where you need to learn linear algebra a second time? Yeah, I recently had one of those days. So the final level pack and the final level mechanic is portals. Yep, portals. Okay, I'm starting the video. Launch my dog. Also, I showered. So I wanted to make portals, right? Now, how do I do this? Short answer, the hot dog hits an object and you move the dog. Done. That's not really good enough, is it? No. So we have to start with a one-way collider. That way, you have a wall where the dog will hit the wall on one side, but it'll pass through on the other. Now, how do we do this? We have a trigger zone on one side of the wall, so if the dog is in the trigger, it can go through the collider. While the dog is in the trigger, we can also keep track of its position. And then because the position is stored as a vector and the position of the portal is stored as a vector, we can use the dot product of the position of the dog and the center of the portal to determine what side of the portal the dog is on. We can also store the previous position and do the same thing. So, because the dot product will either be positive or negative depending on what side of the portal it's on, we then can determine if it crossed sides. Therefore, it crossed through the portal and it would need to be teleported. Here's a video by Sebastian Lague, I think his name is, that explains the whole process better. I used his project template for my own, with the exception that I don't need to see through the portal, so all the camera rendering stuff I didn't use. Now, we need the dog to not do this thing, where it teleports back and forth. We have to know which portal the dog is going into and which portal it's coming out of.
There were a lot of bugs.
We also have to account for the velocity of the dog going in. We can rotate the velocity vector around a quaternion, which is a really nifty way of representing rotation in 3D space. Here's a good 3 blue 1 brown video that goes over the whole thing.
There are more bugs.
Now that the physics work going through the portal, we need to make it look good. Step 1, clones. We can create a clone object and then mirror it to the other side of the other portal. That's a very gross oversimplification of events, but I don't fully understand linear algebra and I've learned it twice, so we're going with that.
There are even more bugs.
I am really channeling Michael Reeves on this one. Okay, so we also need to slice the dog as well as the clone. Now I stole this slicing shader from Sebastian Lague's video, which it accomplishes the whole thing. I didn't know that the shader needed to be on the standard render pipeline instead of the universal one. And when I figured that one out, it took a long time to convert every single material and every single shader I had back. I will make a whole video on what was once level 47. So due to my lack of linear algebra knowledge or physics knowledge or something, there's one issue that I could not fix with portals, and that is stalling. Why am I telling you this? I made what was at that point my favorite level, level 47, and then I found this issue. Here's the sketch. Here's what it looked like in the game, and here's how you beat it. It's a pretty simple level idea. I loved it. It just doesn't work. So I had to redesign it because the dog could stall between the two portals. And that's because they're both facing up. And so it can go half into one, half into the other. The game Portal does not have this issue because you can continuously provide input. Whereas in Launch My Dog, it's basically a simulator. You give it a bunch of inputs, tell it to launch, and then it does stuff. Because of that, in the simulator phase, the dog can get into this like locked or stalled state between two portals. And then sometimes this happens with the slice shader. Rather than completely redesign the game, I just designed levels around this issue. I made the 10 levels for the level pack, posted the liftoff teaser on everything, so I probably spammed people, wrote this video, and so July 10th, 2021. That's the release date. That's the last day. I'm going to be 19. So I got to get back to work. Last video will be on the shop sprint. Then I have a lot of polishing to do, and I got to get it out. So see you later.